What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. And one of the biggest upgrades that the New York Giants made this offseason was on the offensive line in the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft, selecting Minnesota center John Michael Schmitz. Now, we're super excited about John Michael Schmitz, and so are all of you. And today, we want to go ahead and discuss what his impact could be on this team this upcoming season. He will be a rookie, so maybe we have to set our expectations mildly. But again, a really talented prospect that the Giants kind of stole in the second round, and I think that he's going to be a tremendous starter for the Giants in his first season. So we're going to go ahead and dive into all that today, but before we do, make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy this episode, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. Comment your thoughts on the topic down below in the comment section, and if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Fireside Giants for daily New York Giants content on your social media channels. Without further ado, Alex, how are you doing today, my friend, and what are your thoughts on John Michael Schmitz?
I'm doing great, man, and look, as long as the offensive line for the Giants is getting better, I'm doing even better. And ultimately, this line has been pretty bad over the past couple of years. Last year, we saw a little bit of a step forward. Obviously, Andrew Thomas is an all-pro level player. Interior offensive line was kind of in flux. Glowinski was inconsistent. Left guard, Josh Azudu, and, of course, Ben Bredesen. That's going to be the position battle upcoming this training camp and preseason. And then, of course, center at John Michael Schmitz and, right tackle Evan Neal. Hopefully, takes a big step forward. But JMS is a really intriguing player, and honestly, I keep forgetting we have a long-term center, which is kind of a nice realization to have on the daily basis. We're not rolling out Billy Price anymore. We actually have a pretty good player here who's solid. And JMS, like you said, mild expectations because he's a rookie, but I think he's probably going to be one of the best things that we've had at center in quite a long time. Nick Gates had some really, really good games, but the injuries just constantly were plaguing him, and he was constantly missing time, and unfortunately, he's with the Washington Commanders now, but of course, best of luck to him. Love Nick Gates, love the comeback, really respect his resiliency, and I think that we can all commend that at a very high level. But, JMS is really cool. He's a cool player. He had the second highest overall grade of any draft, of any prospect at the center position in the entire draft class at the Combine. I think he had the fifth highest athleticism score at the position and the first highest production score. So you look at JMS, this is not a player that's kind of jumped around from guard to tackle to center. He's been a center, true, all out for the last 3 seasons in Minnesota. This is a player that has not changed a position. Every single snap he has played has been at center. So he is ready to take on the NFL level. And NFL has him as a good to above average starter within the first 2 years of his career. So they're expecting him to be a pretty solid player. I do think that right now I'm pretty optimistic that he can be a very, very good player for us and a long-term solution, one that really we haven't had in a long time at the interior spot there. And we need it. We desperately need that level of production from our center because this is the guy that pre-snap has to do a lot of kind of analyzing and visuals and, understanding the blitz concepts and understanding what's coming and noticing, trends or tendencies and calling them out and helping Daniel Jones before the snap. That pre-snap information can sometimes be the difference between being good and being great or being bad and being good. You look at Tom Brady and having good centers, or you look at Jason Kelce with the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't think that he made a big impact for Jalen Hurts last year? I guarantee. He was one of the only guys that could stop Dexter Lawrence. You know what I mean? Having a good center changes everything. The ability to get to the second level, open up the running game, that IQ. And, Bobby Johnson, our coach here, our offensive line coach, was testing, this player and JMS during the pre-draft kind of prerequisites and the meetings and whatnot. And JMS was killing every single question. The only time he stumped him was when he started asking him offensive tackle questions, and JMS was that's not for centers. So you can tell the IQ is there. He's certainly good enough physically. I think there's a lot left to happen for him in terms of developmental process and where he can possibly be and possibly grow into, which is great. You never want to get a prospect that is already at their ceiling, obviously. So this is a player that comes in with a really high floor, and I think, Anthony, that's kind of what we're happy about and excited about with JMS. His floor is already good. His ceiling is really, really good, but his floor is at a level where you're this is going to be probably the best center we've had in quite a long time on day one, so that's really exciting. But what are your kind of initial impressions from him? I know we haven't really seen him that much because there's not much offensive line, hitting or, action going on during OTAs and minicamp, but we're going to see a lot more of it coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I'll read you guys a quote from his college coach that really should get you guys excited about his potential at the next level.
Yeah, I'm excited about his potential at the next level. I think that when you're talking about his floor versus his ceiling, maybe the ceiling isn't the highest. He's not the greatest athlete of all time. That is why he was the second center taken in this draft. Joel Tippmann went to the New York Jets before John Michael Schmitz to the Giants. So that's ultimately because of Tippmann's ceiling. So he has an extremely high ceiling, but the thing that you love about John Michael Schmitz, as you mentioned, is the extremely high floor. Like, he's going to be a good player. Is he going to reach that, pure all-pro level and just blow you away and become a transcendent talent at the position? He might not. He might, but he might not. But the likelihood is that he will at least be serviceable and at least be a good, above average quality center for this team, which again is something that the Giants haven't had in a very long time. We've had a revolving door at the center position. I believe the fun fact is that Daniel Jones has never had the same starter at center in any of his first 4 seasons of his career. It's been a different player every single year. That's a problem, a huge problem. It's very important for a quarterback to have continuity, whether it be through the playbook, whether it be with their playmakers, and especially on the offensive line. Daniel Jones and Andrew Thomas have good rapport now. They've been playing together for a few years, and they've gotten better together, and a lot of that is because they have chemistry now. On the offensive line, it is important to have chemistry with that quarterback and, again, keep that continuity, but the Giants have been unable to do that for several years, even dating back to when Eli Manning was the starter. They didn't have very good continuity on the offensive line, so it's been a revolving door at many of these positions. I think that's something to be said about that left guard spot. They have Joshua Zito there, of course, and they also have Ben Bredeson. Daniel Jones is a bit more familiar with Ben Bredeson, so again, he might be the front runner for that spot just to keep a little bit more continuity. But keeping Mark Lewinsky at right guard, Evan Neal in year 2 at right tackle, and now you have a center who should be here as the starter for the next several years, hopefully the next decade. We have John Michael Schmitz. Hopefully he pans out and becomes that level of a player, but you're going to have continuity at the center position for several years, and that's probably more important than any of the other positions on the offensive line to keep the continuity, because not only are they blocking, but they are also calling protection. They are making plays or play calls at the line of scrimmage from that center spot. They really are the quarterback of the offensive line. So John Michael Schmitz, not only is he a great blocker, he's also a really smart guy, and the quote that you're about to dive into kind of reflects on his off-the-field capabilities and how good of a person he is and how smart he is. And again, that's all really important for the center position because they do a lot more than just block. So, Alex, take it away with that awesome quote that you have for us.
Absolutely. So, this is what PJ Fleck, cool name, PJ Fleck had to say. This is JMS's collegiate coach and a guy that knows him very, very well. He said, he's one of the greatest people off the field, one of the best connectors of a locker room that you'll ever meet. However, when he's on that football field, he is nasty human being. That's what you want because you're creating that identity of what you're going to become as a program, especially when you're in the Big Ten, especially when you're in the North and in the Mid-American Conference. You've got to be able to impose your will, and we believe strongly in that. So what I love the most about this quote is that not only are you getting a player that's going to seamlessly fly and seamlessly kind of inject himself into a larger cultural rebuild and become a really important variable in that, and the Giants have gone through a pretty big cultural change over the past couple of months, I'd say the last year or so, and he's going to be a perfect fit there. In the locker room, he's bringing guys together. He's a really good dude, really good personality. And on the field, he has that Nick Gates, evil about him, man. He'll bury you. He'll freaking put you in the ground and sit on you and weigh you down. You know what I mean? You're about to get up, he's pushing you right back down. He has that bull mentality. I'm not even going to use the word that Dave Gettleman likes to use because out of pure respect for us, our fans, and for myself, I don't want to put any bad juju on him. Gonna refrain from using the word, but he's a really, really good player, hostile in the trenches, and you love to see a player like this. I love to see, though, that he has that personality that kind of is really impactful in the locker room, but also on the football field. He's a leader, man. He leads by example, and he'll put a guy in the dirt, he'll rub some dirt in his face, and you get respect from that, man. Players in the NFL, they respect you for that type of stuff. So I love to see that. I think this is a really good opportunity for the Giants to make him a pinnacle, a linchpin in their offensive line, and really help him become a really great player, because I think that with his mentality, he's going to be a really solid athlete and a really good contributor for us for a very long time.
Yeah, mentality is really important for NFL players, whether you're talking about the cornerback spot. We've heard from Brian Walker, of course, how cornerbacks need to be confident. They have to be overconfident at times to really succeed in the NFL. And one of the mentalities that succeeds on the offensive line is to have that FU mentality, right? That I want to beat you into the ground and, leave you there and walk over you. And that's what John Michael Schmitz has when he's on the field. That was one of the traits that made us all fall in love with Nick Gates. I mean, outside of his resilience and his ability to come back from those injuries, he was a leader on the field in the sense that he was willing to get into a fist fight with any and everybody on the field. And I think that John Michael Schmitz kind of has that same mentality and that same mean streak to him, which, again, something that breeds success on the offensive line. Offensive linemen who have that mentality tend to succeed at a higher rate. So high hopes for John Michael Schmitz. Again, I think that he's going to be successful as a rookie, but this is a draft pick. He's a young player, long term. I think he's going to pan out and be a really special player for the New York Giants. So super excited about him, but we want to hear your thoughts on him down below in the comment section. Let us know how excited you are about John Michael Schmitz down below. And leave a like if you did enjoy this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And also make sure to go follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Fireside Giants. We will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.